Greetings, people of Earth. It is I, your High Overlord, Skullwood. And I want to say this to you all. You are mine.
Who is going to believe a skull wearing horns? Get a job in a sideshow. Happy Halloween, everybody. Alright, so yesterday's video was very serious in tone, but I meant every word of it. But today, in the spirit of October 31st, I'm going to talk to you about my favourite monsters. What are my favourite monsters, you ask? Well, it's not vampires. I know, shocker. It ain't werewolves either. And it's not demons. So what is it? Well, truth be told, all these things, such as vampires, demons, and all sorts of monsters, come from a particular source. What is that source? The imagination. And what can the imagination conjure up? Absolutely everything. In the case of what I'm talking about, it is gods and goddesses. General brief on what a god and goddess is. Gods and goddesses were created to explain unnatural phenomena and basically appropriate human behaviour. Say when a harvest went bad, a god was blamed, or rather a god was upset and needed to be appeased. Basically, there was a god for everything. There was a god for deaths, there was a god for life, love, hatred, war, peace, food, drink, everything. So in the case of what I'm talking about, don't you think it's a little bit frightening that you have a supreme being controlling you? You have a supreme being playing around with your life because you are small and insignificant to them. Now, that may sound like Cthulhu and the older ones, but from a general perspective, gods were personified by humanity to look like humans. Very beautiful or very ugly or very monstrous humans to coincide with the nature that they were associated with. So in saying that, I have quite a few favourite gods and goddesses. But I have a huge soft spot for Kali. Who is Kali? Let me show you. Kali Ma. Now, a lot of you associate her with Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and that's partly correct. But essentially, Kali is a force of destruction. She is a force to be reckoned with, and she is absolutely unbeatable. In Hindu mythology, she traditionally stood for warfare, but upon closer inspection by scholars who had history and multiple reinterpretations, Kali is an aspect of duality. Yes, she can be very violent and very cruel, but at the same time she represents a crossroads in one's life. She can represent rebirth, reinvigoration, regeneration of the human species, of nature, of the world. But what makes Kali just so formidable is that she is essentially a symbol of female empowerment. Dark, extreme, fundamental female empowerment. And that's why I feel Kali tends to be more vilified in some cases. These days, Kali is seen as a slightly more, friendly figure. You don't normally see Kali like snarling and having her 6 arms up ready for war with her swords and like sticking her tongue out and that sort of thing. These days, Kali seems to be more sanitized just for our public consumption as well as neo-paganism. Because neo-paganism tends to paint gods and goddesses as more positive, just as a means of making it, a little more acceptable and easy to swallow. When in fact, just like any other god and goddess, Kali has a dark side. Kali has the capacity to slice off your head and, dance over your body as much as she does to provide women and humanity in general with a brand new chance in life. Which again comes back to my point of what is more frightening to us as people than to be completely out of our league and being controlled by higher beings? You know, it's funny, when I hear, you know, a celebrity being referred to as a god or a goddess, I automatically think of, you know, just the traditional function of the god and goddess. And the gods and goddesses were temperamental. They could be really angry, incredibly jealous. They could be just like people. So when you are referring to, you know, your teen idol, or somebody that you find attractive in the celebrity circumstance, if you call them a god or a goddess, you're kind of missing the point, as well as kind of insulting these people when you call them that. Last time I checked, Rosario Dawson doesn't exactly control the tides. I'm just saying. So in the case of Kali, with her being so terrifying and all, a lot of that anxiety comes from the misogynistic and sexist point of view that women are frightening. Women are something to be feared and combated against. Kali more or less is a reflection of this misogyny, because here's the thing, like, when a bad person like sees their behavior reflected back at them, that's what makes them scared. And nothing is more frightening to a textbook misogynist, or otherwise, as a strong, powerful, vicious, dark, you know, omnipotent female figure. And Kali is a representation of that. Now, I don't worship Kali, obviously. I mean, you don't see me wearing skulls around my neck and dancing on the corpses of other people, but I find it really fascinating that if humanity were to, you know, look back at itself over the years, they would see that their behavior was somehow excused by making all these idols and all these deities and that sort of thing. It's really, really strange psychology. I totally didn't make a word of sense, and I apologize, but look, this is what I'm saying. In terms of being monsters, in terms of something to be feared, gods and goddesses are the epitome of that. Nothing of what you do as a person is autonomous to a god and a goddess, because chances are they are playing you like a harp. And what could be more frightening than being out of control with who and what you are, and the knowledge that you mean nothing, absolutely nothing, in the grand scheme of things. I hope you guys have a fantastic Halloween. Remember, don't eat too much candy because you'll get nightmares, apparently, but I think it's not necessarily nightmares, it's just like really big hips, and that's why I can't eat much candy. Anyway, have a fantastic night, folks, and to those of you on the other side of the world, you have a lot to look forward to, I think. I don't know what I just said. You have a good one, guys. Mwah! Love you. See